Hi, I'm Lasse and this is my channel F1 Follower. Today I'm gonna review the Bahrain Grand Prix, but it's not the main point of this video. The main point of this video is what did we learn about the racing from Bahrain Grand Prix. If you haven't already seen the results of the race and you don't want to spoil yourself, I have used this high-tech spoiler device, but now I will remove it and the results will come on. So if you don't want to see the results yet, stop the video and come back when you have seen the race if you wanna watch it. And by the magic of magnetic force we have our results here, and only his name was a bit smashed. So Leclerc won and he also got the fastest lap, that is the asterisk here. Sainz was second and Hamilton third. And the Hamilton third really doesn't reflect the race, but I will tell you why. And here's the rest of the point scorers were Russell, Magnussen, Bottas, Ocon, Tsunoda, Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou. And here are the rest of the drivers who got to the finish line. And Gasly, Verstappen and Perez got knocked out. First was Gasly, it was at lap 45 or 46. His engine caught fire and he had to retire. And it took about 5 or 6 laps to remove his car from the side of the road. It was a complete engine failure. The electronics went out from his car and he lost power and there were big flames. At that point the order was Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, Hamilton, Russell and so on. Pretty much the end results here, but I think Schumacher was maybe a bit higher. Everyone but Schumacher went into the pits, and maybe Verstappen didn't go in the pits because he was just in the pits when the Gasly's car got fire. And also Sainz was about the same time there, but Leclerc went one round later to the pits and the order didn't change in the front at least. Then behind the safety car Verstappen got some kind of steering problem. He could drive but he complained it doesn't work. Then when there was like 2 laps driven when the safety car came in lap 52 and 53, Verstappen complained that he has no power or he has no battery boost to use, but his team said that there's no problem. And then he retired after he complained last time in the lap 54. So it was just after Sainz had passed him. Then Perez also started to complain 2 laps before the finish line, and he got the last lap. He was in the 3rd position and Hamilton was chasing him, and on the first lap his engine cut off and he spun around. So that is how we get to these results. Hamilton was like on the road, he was very far away from the top 2 teams, Red Bull and Ferrari, but Red Bull got nothing because it doesn't matter if you can finish like 98% of the race if you don't drive the 2 last percent to the finish line. So now the main point to this video, what we learned about this race and especially this end or the later part of the race. I think that we learned the first thing, which is third thing on the on here because I like to live dangerously and do not order or do not put these on order. So reliability doesn't really matter. As I said, you have to finish the race to get a good result. Red Bull would have been like second and fourth probably if not the reliability problems. And they were running very well on the lap 17, 18 and 19. After the first stops, Verstappen actually overtook Leclerc 3 times, but each time, like the first time Leclerc managed to overtake onto after the next straight back to take back his position, and last time it was quite a launch from Verstappen and Leclerc actually got very briefly overtaken but just drove off to the distance straight after that. So another thing, we learned that the tires were better, I think, than last year for the racing. They did last quite well, but when they started to fall off, and then they fall off quite drastically. But not like that one lap you are okay and next lap you are completely gone, but at least the softs went quite fast when they went away. Norris tried one-stop strategy, and actually Mercedes tried that, but it was very optimistic. But Norris actually tried, like he drove the first almost half a race with mediums, and then he switched on the hards. But the hards didn't work on this track this time at all, so they abandoned it like after 15 laps of driving the hards, just like Mercedes did earlier. Then there was the thing that Red Bull was fast on the straights, but it seems that there was a cost on that. They run their engines very hot. The Red Bull cars, they lost their hydraulics, and the Gasly on the another Honda or Red Bull powered car, he lost his complete system, like the car just burned out. And the thing that the rule changes for this year tried to achieve was that it is easier to follow. Like in the first 5 laps you have always been able to follow somewhat, but now it seems that it was the whole race. He had a very poor start, but he could follow and overtake other cars quite well during the whole race, and he could follow, for example, Tsunoda something like 10 laps on about 1 second. Before this year it was like you could follow maybe 3 or 4 laps in 1 second. It was hard, and then you had to back down because your tires started to melt, and also maybe your engine and brakes started to overheat. And that's all I wrote, but I also wanna put here that Guan Yu showed that he is an actual F1 driver. He got 1 point in his debut, a bit lucky, but he was performing quite well. Most of the race he was following Bottas quite closely. When Bottas managed to overtake someone, so could overtake that same driver a few laps later, most of the time. But yeah, he was beaten by Bottas at the end with quite a margin, but he was not really bad, he was good. And the bottom teams were like nowhere. Aston Martin, Williams and McLaren, they were nowhere, but the rest of the teams were quite bunched up. Like those 3 teams were overtaken on the lap 46 when the Gasly's car broke down, but everyone else was on the same leading lap, and the differences between the cars was not so huge at that point, and at the end it wouldn't be bigger probably either. Like I have the feeling I didn't watch the data and what kind of stats there were for last year and year before that how many cars got overtaken by 1 lap. But I got the feeling that right now the field is much more bunched up than before. And there was quite good fighting all over the field and different kind of strategies, even at the top. Just before the Gasly got fire, the Red Bulls went for the 3rd stop and got new softs or slightly used softs. And it seemed that Ferrari didn't want to respond, or they respond with Sainz coming in, but they would have left Leclerc to drive for the last 15 laps, or no, it's not even 15, it was a bit more than 10 laps go on that point with old mediums. So there was two stoppers, 3 stoppers mixed, and teams took on their first stop, someone took mediums and someone takes softs, and even some tried hard, but they didn't work this time. I think that this video is coming to its end. I'm losing my words because I have used all of them today, so I have to recharge over the night and say some more words you tomorrow. So see you then.